Here in Sarasota, Florida, homelessness has become almost an epidemic. With an estimated 1,500 people being homeless right now, almost 500 of those are under the age of 18. Some estimates have said more. But to remediate this problem, to do something about it, in Sarasota we've realized that it is a community issue. And we started doing community dialogues at the Sarasota Herald Tribune building, sponsored in part by New College of Florida, in part by the Salvation Army. We've had these dialogues so people can come together, discuss the ideas, and figure out ways to assist in these problems. We've discussed everything from co-housing to peer counseling to ways that we can give them the safety and security they need. Take a few minutes and listen to some of the ideas, and at the end, share your own ideas. Let's broaden this conversation, because the only way this is going to be solved is if you and I get involved.
Well, I think the homeless in general, that's a big issue with the shelters, and why people don't like going into them because they feel unsafe.
Unless they feel safe and they have people that they trust. Case management would be really key. I'm a big fan of peer mentors. I think oftentimes they can relate much more closely with what someone is going through. So I think that the peer support is incredibly important in a safe system.
Yeah, like people who've already gone through it, that are maybe just transitioned out, come back and show the example that it does work.
Feeling loved is very important for a child, and if there could be, people that's been through this feel sympathy for children who are in this position. So if people like that were willing to give their time to a child and spend time with that child, because if there's a child that feels like they don't belong to a group, or they just feel different, it's not a good feeling for a child, and then they tend to act out bad behavior.
That if they hold on and orient themselves, they can get good results. I did.
Kids are held back a couple times; they almost never graduate. So if you have some way that they can catch up, if their circumstances put them behind, then that's going to help them. That's the kind of support that they can really use.
Once you're around negativity so much, it's only so much you can take before it consumes. A lot of these kids that are in these areas are not bad kids at all. They're just surrounded by this violence and constant drug use and bad things that eventually they just roll with the punches that they fit in, or make a living, or whatever the case may be.
They should be also in a position to where they can offer skills, understand job skills advice, healthcare issue advice, understand parenting advice, because teen sex understand is alive and well in America.
Yes.
Okay, and we don't want to overlook that. A lot of kids are having babies.
Because too often we tend to tell people what they need as opposed to listen to them what they need. And we're finding that with homeless. Go out and ask them. If we build a new shelter, are you going to stay there? If they say no, there's not much sense of building new shelters.
What we need is a very strong, mental health system for those who are having, difficulties, coping with their addictions or their, mental health that they had when they were children.
Like education of resources that are available, because I feel like youth in particular are like a demographic that might not know what is available to them, and there's also sometimes like a stigma related to disclosing that they're houseless, so I think that's really important.
Houselessness is a problem. We need housing, and the only way to effectively get housing is cooperative group housing.
So if we have a program that exposes them to a lot of different things where they can find their talents, and then follow up with that with an apprenticeship internship program, then we've pretty much eliminated that problem in combination with ascertaining the home environment, whether it's supportive or detrimental.
There is now hopefully going to be funded a new position specifically for youth that's going to be managed by Schoolhouse Link, but it will be a youth. Now they do have case managers, but they not to the depth that the master case managers, the 7 that you talked about.
There's safe spaces, could be activities like self-esteem building trust, people to talk with who are their own ages, people who are looking at job training, trying to keep all materials updated and fresh for current youth, not youth of the past, helping people to be able to look better, feel better, new clothes, haircuts, just grooming.
But the main thing was to have each individual young person in this situation with a caseworker and wraparound services.
Like children that are in a bad environment, they're most of the time in a bad environment because they don't have a positive role model to show them like a bright future for themselves. So, and like the best way for a child to listen to somebody is somebody that's been through it. So if there was some kind of program where like people that are successful in life could mentor children that are like suffering from that and show them that there is hope for their future.
Like what you were saying, by having someone who had similar experiences to you, by having that respect and belief in someone saying, oh, don't worry, it'll be fine. It's like, no, don't worry, like I've been there, it will be fine, like you can get through this. So that is a large part for any issue that you're dealing with, not just youth homelessness.
You feel like that's where you belong. You belong on the negative side of life, that you're not as good as, or you're not deserving of a positive life.
And we see, and one of the things that I'm looking at is there's a lot of sexual trafficking occurring as a result of this. Kids are vulnerable because they're in these difficult homes, so they come out to escape from that, and it really is out of the frying pan into the fire.
You are coming out. It's like, it is like an intervention because you have different views. Everybody has their own opinion about it, and you're the center of attention because you're like, oh, this is something new usually.
I see the effects that it has on kids in college who are relatively privileged. They have a stable place to live in their dorms. They usually start out at least with family support, and then they come out. And all of a sudden, in many cases, they have a huge falling out with their family. I've seen cases where kids get cut off right then. They have to leave school. So I think that can be a really big thing to intervene in. It occurs to me that there needs to be choices. If the kids can make choices, so maybe they connect with a pastor, or maybe not, or maybe they connect with a coach, or maybe not. So if they have sort of diverse kinds of mentors that they can find, or diverse places to go.
Mentoring in terms of someone who's been where the person is, that can instill in them confidence and hope that they can too get out of this place they're at. Tutoring to fill the gap in their education needs. They need peer support at school and other places where they feel subordinate and inferior and dejected. They need to feel uplifted, and we need more case managers.
Turn it around more like the old days, that the teachers can also be quasi-parents.
They would never tell you everything the first time. Trust had to be established. They'd call. You wouldn't ask for any information to talk to them. Then they'd come back, and then they become. And then probably by call number 3 on the helplines, then you can start guiding them.
If you can find mentors who have been screened, by different agencies or agencies that's willing to uphold the screening, you can find yourself in a position where not only are the kids getting the best education, that's allowed, but at the same time they're getting some morality-based situations where the religious sector comes into play.
And so the most pressing issue is how do you reestablish the basic needs and safety? How do you reestablish that? I look at my daughter who's an infant, and the first thing she always looks to me for is safety and familiarity and trust. And if we don't have those things, I can't explain to her how to go through that. So those are the most pressing things to me.
So the question remains, How do we give those experiencing homelessness the safety and security they need to make something of their lives? We have to realize that our society, our culture, our civilization has its shortcomings. How do we overcome that to make a world where everyone can thrive?